Hey everyone, today I'm diving into how David Goggins' powerful question, who's gonna carry the boats, has completely revolutionized my mindset. I'll be summarizing my most important takeaways from Goggins' Can't Hurt Me book. And I'm actually sitting at a cafe right now, and there's a background music playing around the corner, so just don't mind it. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Taking souls. I believe this is the most important concept, at least for me. So it goes like this. Choose any competitive situation that you're in right now. Who is your opponent? Is it your teacher or coach, your boss, an honorary client? No matter how they are treating you, there is one way to not only earn their respect but to turn the tables, and that is excellence. That may mean acing an exam, or crafting an ideal proposal, or smashing a sales goal. Whatever it is, I want you to work harder on that project or in that class than you have ever before. Do everything exactly as they ask you, and whatever standards they set as an ideal outcome, you should be aiming to surpass that. If your coach doesn't give you time in the games, dominate practice. Check the best guy on your squad and show it everyone. That means putting time in off the field, watching films so you can study your opponent's tendencies, memorizing plays, and training in the gym. You need to make that coach pay attention. If it is your teacher, then start doing work of high quality. Spend extra time on your assignments, write papers for her that she didn't even assign. Come early to class, ask questions, pay attention, show her who you are and wanna be. If it's a boss, work around the clock. Get to work before them, leave after they go home, make sure they see that. And when it's time to deliver, surpass their maximum expectations. Whoever you're dealing with, your goal is to make them watch you achieve what they could have never done themselves. You want them thinking how amazing you are. Take their negativity and use it to dominate their thoughts with everything you got. Take their soul. And afterward, post about it on social media and add the hashtag can't hurt me taking souls. Another important point I want to mention is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And here, Goggins mentioned that doing things, even small things that make you uncomfortable, will help you make you strong. The more often you get uncomfortable, the stronger you will become, and soon you will develop a more productive, can-do dialogue with yourself in stressful situations. Another point is the only way out is through. Here's a nice quote that goes along the way. And another important point we have is the accountability mirror. This concept goes something like this. So, it is time to come eye to eyeball with yourself and get raw and real. This is not a self-help tactic. You can't fluff it. Don't message your ego. This is about abolishing the ego and taking the first step toward becoming the real you. And you can take post notes on the accountability mirror, and you can do the same. Digital device won't work. Write all your insecurities, dreams, and goals on post-it notes and tag up your mirror. If you need more education, remind yourself that you need to start working on your uh, best version because you aren't smart enough. Period. Point blank. If you look in the mirror and see someone who's obviously overweight, that means you're just a fat. Own it. It's okay to be unkind to yourself in these moments because we need thicker thing to improve in life. Whether it's a career goal, quitting job, starting a business, a lifestyle goal, losing weight, getting more active, or an athletic one, run first 5K, 10K, or a marathon. You need to be truthful with yourself about where you are and the necessary steps it will take to achieve those goals, day by day. Each step, each necessary point of improvement should be written as its own note. That means we have to do some research and break it all down. For example, if you are trying to lose 40 pounds, your first project may be to lose 2 pounds in the first week. Once that goal is achieved, remove the note and post the next goal of 2 achieved. Remove the note and post the next goal. Just, this thing continues like a cycle. And the next goal might be losing 5 pounds until your ultimate goal is realized. Whatever your goal, you need to hold yourself accountable for the small steps it will take to get there. Self improvement takes dedication and self discipline. The dirty mirror you see every day is going to reveal the truth. Stop ignoring it, use it to your advantage. If you feel it, post an image of yourself starting at your typed up accountability mirror on social media with the hashtag can't hurt me, accountability mirror. Okay, let's continue with the next concept, armored mind. There's a relatable story that goes in this book. Um, it's like this. 130 hours of suffering, maybe as always 1,000, when you know you can't sleep and that there will be no relief anytime soon. And we knew something else too. However, as David Goggins in his book, was a mind game. The instructor used their suffering to pick and peel away their layers, not to find the fittest athletes, to find the strongest minds. That's something creators didn't understand until it was too late. Everything in life is a mind game. Whenever we get swept under by life's dramas, large and small, we are forgetting that no matter how bad the pain gets, no matter how harrowing the torture, all bad things end. That forgetting happens the second we control our emotions and actions to other people, which can easily happen when pain is speaking. During Hell Week, the men who quit felt like they were running on a treadmill turned away with no dashboard within reach. But whether they were ever figured it out or not, that was an illusion they fell for. And never forget that all emotional and physical anguish is finite. It all ends eventually. Smile at pain and watch it fade for at least a second or two. If you can do that, you can string those seconds together and last longer than your opponent thinks you can. And that may be enough to catch a second win. Powers of mind. Similar to using your opponent's energy to gain advantage, leaning on your careless mind in the heat of battle can shift your thinking as well. Remembering what we've been through and how that has strengthened your mindset can lift you out of a negative brain loop and help you bypass those weak, 1 second impulses to give in so you can power through obstacles. And when you leverage a careless mind, like I did, like Goggins did around the pool day and keep fighting through pain, it can help you push your limits because if you accept the pain as a natural process and refuse to give in and give up, you will engage the sympathetic nervous system, which shifts your hormonal flow. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight reflex. It's bubbling just below the surface, and when you're lost, stressed out, or struggling, like David was when he was down and down hit, that's part of your mind that's driving the bus. We all have tasted this feeling before. Those mornings when you're going on a run is a lot you want to do, but then 20 minutes into it, you feel energized. That's work of sympathetic nervous system. What David found is that you can tap into it on when you indulge in negative self-talk, the gifts of a sympathetic response will remain out of reach. However, if you can manage those moments of pain that come with maximum effort by remembering what you've been through to get to that point in your life, you will be in a better position to persevere and choose fight or flight. That will allow you to use the adrenaline that comes with sympathetic response to get to go even harder. Visualize. It's time to visualize. The average person thinks 2,000 to 3,000 thoughts per hour. Rather than focus on things you cannot change, imagine visualizing stuff you can. Choose an obstacle in your way or set a new goal, and visualizing overcoming and achieving. Before engage in an activity, you should start by painting a picture of what your success looks and feels like. You should think about it every day, and that feeling propels you forward when you're training, competing, or taking on any task you choose. But visualization isn't simply about daydreaming of some trophy ceremony, real and decorated. You must also visualize the challenges that are likely to arise and determine how you will attack those problems when they do. That way, you can be as prepared as possible on the journey. When you show up for a foot race now, you will drive the entire course through it, visualize success, but also potential challenge, which helps you control your thought process. You can't prepare for everything, but if you engage in a certain visualization ahead of time, you will be as prepared as you possibly can be. That means being prepared to answer the simple questions. Why are you doing this? What is driving you toward this achievement? Where does the darkness you are using as fuel come from? What has clouded your mind? You will need to have those answers at your fingertips when you hit a wall of pain and doubt. To push through, you will need to challenge your darkness, feed off it, and lean on your callous mind. Remember, visualization will never compensate for work undone. You cannot visualize lies. All the strategies David employ to answer the simple questions and win the mind game are only effective because he puts in work. It's a lot more than mind over matter. It takes relentless self-discipline to schedule suffering into your day every day. But if you do, you will find that at the other end of that suffering is a whole other life just waiting for you. This challenge doesn't have to be physical, and victory doesn't always mean you come in first place. It can mean you have finally overcome a lifelong fear or any other obstacle that made you surrender in the past. Whatever it is, tell the world your story about how you created your armored mind and where that's taking you. It's funny, humans tend to hatch our most challenging goals and dreams, the ones that demand our greatest effort yet promise absolutely nothing. When we are tucked into a comfort zone, when David was at work when Cosmo laid out his challenge for him, he would just had a warm shower, he was fed and watered, he was comfortable, and looking back every single time his name tried to do something difficult. It was in a soft environment because it all sounds doable when you are chilling on your couch with a glass of lemonade or chocolate shaking in your hand. When we are comfortable, we can answer those simple questions that are bound to arise in the heat of battle because we don't even realize they're coming. But those answers are very important when you are no longer in your air-conditioned room or on your fluffy blanket. When your body is broken and beaten, when you're confronted with agonizing pain, staring into the unknown, your mind will spin, and that's when those questions become toxic. If you aren't prepared in advance, if you allow your mind to remain undisciplined in an environment of intense suffering, it won't feel like it, but it's very much a choice you're making. The only master you're more likely to find is the one that will make it stop as fast as possible. Cookie jar. This is another important concept in the Can't Hurt Me book. Take inventory of your cookie jar. Track your journal opal again. Write it all out. Remember, this is not some breezy stroll through your personal trophy room. Don't just write down your achievement. This include life obstacles you've overcome as well, like quitting smoking or overcoming depression or a study. Add in those minor tasks you failed early in life but tried again a second or third time and ultimately succeeded. Feel what was it like to overcome those struggles, those opponents, and win. Then get to work. Set ambitious goals to each workout and those past victories carry on to new personal bests. If it's a run or bike ride, include some time to do interior work and challenge yourself to beat your best miles play. Or simply maintain a maximum heart rate for a full minute, then 2 minutes. If you're at home, focus on pull-ups or push-ups. Do as many as possible in 2 minutes, then try to beat your best. When the pain hits and tries to stop you short of your goal, dunk in your fist in, pull out a cookie, and let it fill you. If you're more focused on intellectual growth, train yourself to read harder and longer than ever before, or read a record number of books in a given month. Your cookie jar can help that too, because if you perform this challenge correctly and truly challenge yourself, you will come to a point in an exercise where pain, boredom, or self-doubt kicks in and you will need to push back to get through it. The cookie jar method is your shortcut to taking control of your own thought process. You would do it that way. The point here isn't to make yourself feel like a hero for the sake of it. It's not a for me session. It's to remember what a badass you are so you can use that energy to succeed again in the heat of battle. Post your memories and new successes they feel on social media and include the hashtag as always. Can't hurt me, cookie jar. Well, most of us are motivated as hell to do anything to pursue our dreams until those around us remind us of the danger, downside, or limitation. And all the people before us that didn't make it. Sometimes the advice comes from a well-intentioned place. They really believe they are doing it for your own good. But if you let them, the same people will talk you out of your dreams, and your governor will help them do it. Okay, here is another short slide for you to read. And let me elaborate on it anyway. The main objective here is to slowly start to remove the governor from your brain. First, a quick reminder of how this process works. In 1999, when Goggins weighed 297 pounds, his first time was a quarter mile. Fast forward to 2007, he ran 205 miles in 39 hours non-stop. He didn't get there overnight, and he doesn't expect us to either. Our job is to push past our normal stopping point. Whether you're running on a treadmill or doing a set of push-ups to get to the point where you are so tired and in pain that your mind is begging you to stop, then push just 5 to 10% further. If the most push-up you have ever done is 100 in a workout, do 105 or 110. If you normally run 30 miles each week, run 10% more next week. This gradual ramp up will help prevent injury and allow your body and mind to fully adapt to a new workload. It also resets your baseline, which is important because you're about to increase your workload another 5 to 10% the following week and the week after that. There is so much pain and suffering involved in physical challenges that it's the best train to command of your inner dialogue, and the newfound mental strength and confidence you gain by continuing to push yourself physically will carry over the aspects of your life. You will realize that if you were underperforming in your physical challenges, there's a good chance you're underperforming at school and work too. Okay, here's another story from the book. And so basically, David was running a race and it starts at 4 a.m. on Saturday, departing from the city of Leadville, a world class ski town with frontier routes and traversing a network of beautiful and harsh rocky mountains trails that range from 2,200 feet to 12,600 feet in elevation. When David finished at 2 a.m. on Sunday, a teenager from Denver who attended school he had visited a few days earlier was waiting for him at the finish line. He didn't have a great race. He came in 14th place rather than his typical top 5, but he always made sure to finish strong. And when David sprinted home, he approached David with a wide smile and said, I drove 2 hours just to see you finish. So the lesson here is you never know who you're affecting. David's poor face results meant less than nothing to the young man because he had helped him open his eyes to a new world of possibilities and capabilities that he sent within himself. He had followed David from his high school auditorium to Leadville because he was looking for absolute proof. David's finishing the David's finishing the race, that it was possible to transcend the typical and become more. And as David cooled down and told off, he asked him for tips so he could one day run all day and night through the mountains in his backyard. Our culture has become hooked on the quick fix, the life hack, efficiency. Everyone is on the hunt for that simple action algorithm that nets maximum profit with the least amount of effort. There is no denying this attitude may get you some of the trappings of success if you are lucky, but it will not lead you to a callous mind or self-mastery. If you want to master the mind and remove your governor, you will have to become addicted to hard work because passion and obsession, even talent, are only useful tools if you have the work ethic to back up. Uncommon against amongst the uncommon. This is another major concept in the book, and it goes like this. So, we are in the middle of the story, and David says, I looked at that winter storm as a platform to become uncommon among uncommon men. No matter who you are, life will present you with similar opportunities where you can prove to be uncommon. There are people in all walks of life who release those moments, and when David see them, he recognizes them immediately because they are usually that someone who is all by himself. It's a suit who's still at the office at midnight while everyone else at the bar, or that's someone who hits the gym directly after coming off a 48-hour work. He's the wildland firefighter who, instead of hitting his vigil, sharpens his chainsaw after working a fire for 24 hours. That mentality is there for all of us. All of us can be the person who flies all day and night only to arrive home to a filthy house and instead of blaming family or roommates, cleans it up then because they refuse to ignore duties undone. He further elaborates that a true leader stays exhausted, abhors arrogance, and never looks down on the weakest link. He fights for his men and leads by example. That's what it meant to be uncommon among uncommon. It meant being one of the best and helping your men to find their best too. It was a lesson David wishes sank in a lot deeper because in just a few more weeks he would be challenged in the leadership department and come up short. Most people take a couple of weeks off to recover from ranger school and put some weight back on. Most people do that. The day of graduation on Valentine's Day, David flew into Coronado to meet up with his second platoon. Once again, he looked at the lack of lag time as an opportunity to be uncommon. Not that anybody else was watching, but when it comes to mindset, it doesn't matter where other people's attention lies. He had his own uncommon standards to live up to. This one's for unusual people in this world. A lot of people think that once they reach a certain level of status, respect, or success, they have made it in life. David is here to tell you that you always have to find more. Greatness is not something that if you meet it once, it stays with you forever. That thing evaporates like a flash of oil in hot paint. If you truly want to become uncommon amongst uncommon, it will require sustaining greatness for a long period of time. It requires staying in a consistent pursuit and putting out unending effort. This may sound appealing, but will require everything you have to give and then some. Believe him, this is not for everyone because it will demand singular focus. It may upset the balance in your life. That is what it takes to become a true overachiever. And if you're already surrounded by people who are at the top of their game, what are you going to do differently to stand out? It's easy to stand out amongst everyday people. It can be a big fish in a small pond. It's much more difficult task when you are a wolf surrounded by wolves. This means not only getting into Wharton Business School, but being ranked first in your class. It means not just graduating BUD/S, but becoming enlisted honor man in Army Ranger School, then going out and finishing Badwater. Towards the complacency you feel gathering around you, your co-workers and teammates in that race. Continue to put obstacles in front of yourself because that's where you will find the friction that will help you grow even stronger. Before you know it, you will stand alone. Show no weakness, remained David's motto. That doesn't mean he felt strong. Okay, moving on. A lot of us surround ourselves with people who speak to our desire for comfort, who would rather treat the pain of our wounds and premature the injuries than helping us callous over them and try again. We need to surround ourselves with people who will tell us that what we need to hear, not what we want to hear, but at the same time not make us feel we are up against impossible. David's mother was his biggest fan. Whenever he failed in life, she was always asking him when and where he would go after it again. She never said, well, maybe it isn't meant to be. From the beginning, some of them had predicted his hands would give out, and but the truth revealed itself in Nashville when he was attempting a pull-up record. It presented a big mental hurdle. Part of David's mind wondered if those people were right, if he was trying to achieve the impossible. Then David thought of an English middle distance runner from back in the day named Roger Bannister. When Bannister was trying to break the 4-minute mile in 1950s, experts told him it couldn't be done. But that didn't stop him. He failed again and again, but he persevered. And when he ran his historic mile in 3:59.4 on May 6, 1954, he didn't just break a record. He broke open the floodgates simply by proving it possible. 6 weeks later, his record was eclipsed, and by now over 1,000 runners have done what was once thought to be beyond human capability. We are all guilty of allowing so-called experts, or just people who are more experienced in a given field than we do, to cap our potential. One of the reasons we love sports is because we also love watching those glass ceilings get shattered. If David was going to be the next athlete to match popular perception, he would need to stop listening to doubt, whether it streamed in from the outside or bubbled up from within. And the best way to do that was to decide that he would pull up record was already his. I do not know when it would officially become his. It might be in 2 months or 20 years, but once he decided it belonged to David and decoupled it from the calendar. David was filled with confidence and relieved of any and all pressure because his task moved from trying to achieve the impossible into working toward an inevitability. But to get there, he would have to find a tactical advantage he'd been missing. After logging more than 67,000 pull-ups in 9 months, it was time to put them in his cookie jar and move on. Because life is one long imaginary game that has no scoreboard, no referee, and isn't over until we're dead and buried. David Goggins introduced the 40% rule, which suggests that when you think you're done and reach your limit, you have only tapped into about 40% of your true potential. Essentially, your mind often gives up long before your body does. The rule is about pushing past your achieved limits and discovering what you are truly capable of. When you feel like you can't go any further, remember that you have likely got much more in you. Embrace the discomfort and keep pushing forward. Applying the 40% rule can help you overcome the challenges and achieve goals you once thought were out of reach. It's all about breaking through mental barriers and unlocking your full potential. Think about your most recent and your most heart-wrenching failures. Break out the journal one last time, log off the digital version, and write them out longhand. I want you to feel this process because you're about to file your own belated after action report. First off, write out all the good things, everything that went well from your failures. Be detailed and generous with yourself. A lot of good things will happen. It's rarely all bad. Then note how you handled your failure. Did it affect your life and your relationship? How so? How did you think throughout the preparation for and during the execution stage of your failure? You have to know how you are thinking at each step because it's all about mindset, and that's where most people fall short. Now, go back through and make a list of things you can fix. This isn't time to be soft or generous. Be brutally honest. Write them all out. Study them. Then look at your calendar and schedule another attempt as soon as possible. If the failure happened in childhood and you can recreate the little leagues, all-star game you choked in, I still want you to write that report because you will likely be able to use that information to achieve any goal going forward. As you prepare, keep that list handy. Consult your accountability mirror and make all necessary adjustments. When it comes to execute, keep everything we have learned about the power of Kellogg's line, the cookie jar, and the 40% rule in the forefront of your mind. Control your mindset, dominate your thought process. This life is all a mind game. Realize that, own it. And if you fail again, so be it. Take the pain, repeat these steps, and keep fighting. That's what it's all about. Share your stories from preparation, training, and execution on social media with hashtags can't hurt me, empowerment of failure. Alright everyone, I tried to make this video as short as possible so you could get the most important piece of information. That's it for today, and I will be doing more book reviews and hope that will help.